Welcome back to Roaming with Restless Women. Today, I am excited to introduce you to an author who writes cozy mysteries. I love this genre. So, Michelle Clifton is our guest. She's the author of the Taryn Kelly Mysteries, Fluffy Murders. This is what was in her bio with the quotes. Fluffy murders filled with humor, romance, and twisty whodunits. Perfect for busy readers who crave a fast-paced escape with a cozy mystery. A Colorado native now living in Southwest Florida, Michelle brings warmth, resilience, and community spirit to everything she does. In addition to writing, she regularly hosts authors on her website. She supports fellow writers through her role as the Director of Digital Marketing and Communications for the Southwest Florida FW.
Fiction writers.
Fiction writers. Thank you. You didn't list that out, so I had to kind of guess. Board of directors, and she creates the newsletter and Inkwell Digital Magazine. Michelle also offers presentations and workshops for readers and writers, sparking imagination, let's see, and helping creatives grow their craft. Whether crafting mysteries, recording audiobooks, or uplifting her writing community, she's dedicated to helping others feel seen, inspired, and connected. So, welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much for all that you're doing with authors in Southwest Florida and across the nation, I'm sure. And let's start out by just saying hello and welcome and tell me about Taryn.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Taryn is my protagonist. She's a 26-year-old party planner who just barely started her own business and would love to just plan everybody's happy fairy tale endings, but she finds bodies instead. So unfortunately, she is the reluctant sleuth. She has a best friend named Candace who is more willing to investigate murder, more excited about the whole idea. And then she has a couple of men in her life that like to complicate things. She's an
Of
overall,
course she does.
yeah, she does. You have to, right? I mean, men are always complicating things. So,
Yes.
so she just really wants to be a really good person. She wants to really help everybody. And so when these things happen to her, she, like I said, was reluctant, but kind of feels deep down no choice because she has to help other individuals as well.
Oh, what a beautiful character you've created. I love that. So tell me about how you got started in fiction writing. How did you know that that's what you really wanted to do?
Kind of a long journey, and it's definitely got its own twists and turns. Originally, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a district attorney. I actually was going to school to get my law degree. I was going to go and put bad guys in jail. I loved reading the John Grisham novels. It was very exciting. I thought, oh, real life crime, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And a few things happened in my life. Some health issues kind of arose, some different changes happened, and I decided that becoming a mom was more important than having a career as an attorney, which was related to my health issues. So we chose motherhood, had two beautiful children out of the grace of God because complications. And I decided, what else can I do? I went into the dance and theater industry because I've always been crafty. I did that with my
Mhm.
daughter. I did all the costuming, hair, makeup, backstage management, things like that. And it was a beautiful, enchanting, wonderful world. But you're kind of always in the middle of stories there anyway. You're acting and pretending. So along the way, I fell in love with cozy mysteries and decided that maybe I would like to write my own. And that would kind of tie me back into my original dream of prosecuting people, if you will.
There you go.
So I started my first novel while my kids were little, and I just kept, dabbling a little with it, and then I would shelve it whenever the kids needed something, go back and forth, had my other career of the theater industry. And eventually, once my kids were in high school and graduated, they were like, Mom, how come you haven't finished your book? How come you're not writing? It's what you've always wanted to do. We always saw you reading and writing on your free time. I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea anymore. I've gotten old. You guys are grown up, kind of thing. And my kids and my husband said, no, you spent too much free time doing these things. We think you should do it. So, with the encouragement of them, I thought, yeah, you know what? I do want to do this. Not sure why not. And I wrote my first novel, finished it, got it published. And here I am writing technically the fourth in the series, but third full length book that'll come out in April. So it's just kind of taken off in a beautiful way. And it's been kind of like a roundabout deep seated dream over the years.
Oh, that's all, and the timing is going to be perfect with that book launch because that's when this episode will actually get published. So the
Perfect.
timing was divine. You know what I
It
mean?
was
It
divine.
was divine, divine. All right. So tell me about the mom years. So I have two daughters. You said you have two daughters, or do you have a daughter and a son?
I have a daughter and a son.
Okay, you have a daughter and a son. So tell me about those parenting years and what you learned during those years that you funneled into some of the work that you're doing now.
Well, I had one of each, and they were both extremely active children. My son did all of the sports, full all-star sportster, wrestler, stage
Uh-huh.
wrestler, jujitsu, all those fun things. My daughter was the opposite, absolute opposite. She was dancer, theater, actually a chemist as well. She got this high,
Okay.
yeah, so but I homeschooled them on and off for part of the time as well. And as far as just raising them goes, I just kind of jumped in full fate and I learned so much with whatever they wanted to do. I learned alongside of them. And I learned that by just putting yourself out there, doing the best you can succeed as long as you want it bad enough. And so I just kind of learned from the two of them and just following their passions, helping uplift their passions, what I
Mm-hmm.
could do for myself and for others. And it's just a matter of going for it. You just have to go for it. You have a dream, you have a passion, you find somebody that can be your social kind of like a helper or a buddy, a social outlet for you on that. And then you hit that road and you don't look back. You just go forward. And sometimes there'll be some hurdles you have to do. Sometimes you'll miss a couple and you'll get a little road rash along the way. But you
Yeah.
pick yourself up, dust yourself back off. You're good to go. So
That's
yeah, those are kids.
wonderful. And so does that attitude filter into how Taryn and how she acts in the world?
It does, because she'll have her moments where she's just kind of down and she's like, oh my gosh, if only I could just not have to deal with this right now. Or she gets a little angry or whatever's going on. But usually in all of my books, what you can do is you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a little breadcrumb, a little path to follow, that things are going to get better. Even if they're in the worst part of it right now, it has to get better, right? And the way I write my books, and cozy genre in general as well, is that there's always a happy ending,
Oh
because
yeah.
the world has too many things that you can't guarantee a happy ending in. And that's one thing with my fiction. I always want to guarantee a happy ending. I don't want my readers ever to feel like, oh my gosh, now I'm like deep-seatedly sad over it. And I understand there's a place for that type of writing, but for
Yeah.
me, the escapism for me is that you get this journey, you watch this character go through like some of the toughest times, and it looks really dark for a minute there, and then all of a sudden everything works out in the end and everybody does what they need to do to play their part, and it's just a very happy ending that you can close the book and you'd be like, oh, that was a good story, that was a lot of fun.
Where's my next one? Right? I love the ones where you close the
Exactly.
book, you go, oh, that was great. Where's my next one? I
And that's
love
how I
that.
write mine. They're all in a series. Most cozy mysteries are, and I love that too, because you get to really grow with the character as
Right.
the reader. You fall in love with the
Absolutely.
character, you become invested in their journey. And what I love about writing fiction is that you can write little pieces of like real life incidences or truths or things
Mhm.
that you want, and you can almost learn alongside your protagonist on maybe how to handle a situation, or you can look back and be like, oh my gosh, that might not have been handled as appropriately as it should have been, but
Mhm.
it worked out in the end because of how they made it better. And I think it makes it a little more of a fun journey, because you want to know what those characters are doing. I'm not sure about you as a reader, if you ever find yourself thinking about characters that you like, what are they doing right now? And then you have to remind yourself they're not real.
Oh, but I don't
You're
think
like, they're not doing anything.
I have a master's in English literature, so my early education was totally, just absorbed in reading and understanding human interaction via the books that I read, and so I read, that required reading of not just happy endings, but a lot of great fiction and a lot of great nonfiction as well. and comparative literature. So um, I don't know that, well, there's one character that I absolutely love and think about all the time. But he's kind of one of those anti-protagonists. He's a reluctant kind of hero. And, yeah, I think about him often. I really do, now that you mention it.
I love it. You do find that at times you do start to think what those characters are up to, or that because they become a part of your life if you've
Yeah.
fallen in love with the story. So
Well, I think I read the first time I read him, it was the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant. And it was the early part of the 90s when fantasy was just coming around. And the guy that wrote the stories was from Kent State University, and that's where I went to college as well. And so um, we had that in common. So it was kind of interesting. And then it was the first series that I ever read. So it was 7 books, and they're kind of now they're classic fantasy. So I love that stuff. So tell me about what you do with the writers that you support and that you partner with in the Southwestern Florida, that organization, the writers
Southwest Florida
organization.
fiction writer. Yeah.
There you go.
Um, I I run their newsletter. I help with their Facebook page. Help with their website. I'm working in the process of updating it for them. They just put me on the board of directors last November. I've been volunteering and things with them as a lot. We started the magazine. It was what I started. So I try to bring all of the writers together because we write across several genres. And I try to
Mm,
bring everybody together, give like little samples of what everybody's writing styles are, let readers have a bunch of kind of almost freebies, if you will, so they maybe have to learn and love a new author. I'm very into getting readers to find new authors,
hmm.
especially authors that maybe aren't as known, just because I think there's so many stories to be told out there, and there's so many people that work so hard to give these beautiful stories to us. And so
Yes.
my whole goal has been to collaborate with other authors, to work with the fiction group, and we try to do group signings, which they were doing prior to me too. So I can't take credit for that. They do group signings, but I help them find them now and organize those as well. And we encourage and uplift each other when we're at a table together. We're all sharing a table. We all get like 2 feet of a table, right? There's like 4 of us sometimes. The really wonderful thing about that is that when you have groups of readers coming up, you can ask them, well, what kind of reading do you prefer? What genre do you like? And if they say, well, I really love paranormal. Well, I don't write paranormal yet, going to, but I don't write paranormal, but I have a friend right here next to me who does. You might be
Uh-huh.
interested in her books. So we do that kind of stuff with each other. And then I've gone to some big book conventions as well. Tropicon was the latest one I was at, and that was an amazing, wonderful experience. But I was able to actually give readers, authors that I've encountered or my group authors, their information. They're like, well, we're really looking for like a historical romance. Well, they're like, well,
Yeah.
I happen to know an author that does historical romance, and you may love her books. So I'm one of those kind of people who I love promoting everybody, not just me. It's just you
Yeah.
never know what somebody might love. And so I do like collaborating with others. I do on my website, I post mostly cozy mystery authors. I will do a few other romance authors and stuff as well, but they'll put a guest blog post up, part of a virtual book tour. That I don't do the book tour setup. I'm just one of the stops. And that has been an absolute blast because we get new people to my website that know my stuff. They get new followers that didn't know them. We get recipes, we get fun blog posts. I mean, there's just so many great things. They give a giveaway, and it's just a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. One of the things that I'm all about is, like you said, referrals and, sharing the love, basically. I like to support and uphold other women's work, which is why I do this podcast, is because no matter what you are passionate about, no matter what your calling is in life, I think everyone deserves the opportunity to share that with the world. And if I can help in some small way, by getting these women on these podcasts getting the wisdom out of them, getting their passion and their experience and their excitement about what they do. That can excite so many other people to do similar things. And so to me, it's one of those, like you were saying about your kids, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and if you really, really want to do it, you can do it. Just try it
Absolutely.
again. Absolutely.
I agree. And, I've had a few author friends say that, and this has been a huge compliment in my author life, that I've inspired them, because a lot of authors are introverts. I'm not.
Yes.
I am happy to stand in front of anybody and talk. I'm happy to just, present, teach, whatever it is that somebody might need. That's been me. I mean, I came from the theater.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
so there's no problem there. But I do encounter a lot of authors who are very introverted, and they're very timid about even saying anything to anybody. So I think
Yeah.
that's one way that I'm able to kind of help some of these authors, specifically in my group, because I work, on a weekly basis. I see them, but specifically in my group, to kind of get them to feel like maybe they're pull them out of that comfort zone and say, you really are awesome. You have a really awesome story to tell. And so maybe you don't have to be like as crazy as I can be, but we can work together, and maybe you'll feel a little more confident about saying, hey, look at my story. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I think everybody, no matter what their story is, it deserves to be told, you
Absolutely.
know, whether they make it up or they've lived it, right? And
That
sometimes
is true.
both.
Well, and a lot of fiction writers I've met along the way, a lot of us will put bits and pieces of our own life into all of our stories. Now, of course, they're heavily embellished.
Oh, yeah.
And absolutely, I mean, it's you take a grain of salt and then you just change it to a diamond, right? Kind of thing. Like,
Hmm.
so it's totally different. But I do believe that most fiction writers, at least the ones I've encountered and worked with, they all have a little piece of themselves in every story.
They have to. You have to. You can't take yourself out and it be uniquely you.
Nope.
So I want to know what you have going on next. So you mentioned that you have another book coming out in April. What else is going on in your world?
So I have the book coming out in April. That's book 3 in the Taryn Kelly Mysteries. I'm trying to, and I can't promise a date, but I'm trying to get my first paranormal mystery book out this October.
Wow.
And I am working on getting all of the books on audio right now, but I'm doing self narration.
Oh,
So that's been a process and a learning all on its own.
oh, I
I'm
bet.
working on my past list to become audiobooks. I'm hoping for at least book 1, maybe book 2 by the end of March to be out on audio. And yeah, that's the kind of the big things. I've got another magazine release coming up with Southwest Florida fiction writers, and just trying to get out and help as many people as possible through different author programs and things. I also have several book club talks coming up. So presentations
Wow.
there, presentations at the library, and a few writing festivals that I get to be a part of this year.
Oh,
So it's a little,
nice. Well, you're quite the busy woman then.
it's very crazy. Actually, I think when March 1st hits, I don't think I'll be doing anything but I mean, I already eat, sleep, and drink writing, but I don't think I'll be doing anything but festival after festival after festival.
Oh my
And
goodness.
there's so many festivals down here, and it's been such a joy because I've been invited to so many of them, which is wonderful.
Oh,
You put your application in, but it's never a guarantee that you'll get chosen to be at these festivals. And I was super blessed this year to be chosen at several of them. So I'll be traveling all across the Gulf Coast at writing festivals for March and April.
oh, how fun. It's so fun too when you go to those things to be surrounded by your people.
Oh yeah.
You just get so inspired and it sparks that creativity. I know when I go to my professional conferences and stuff, whether I'm presenting or not, it's just the vibe. It's just, oh, I'm with my people. I'm not alone. It
It's the energy that you need
is
that like regenerates that creativity. So I agree
100%.
completely. And then my favorite thing of all, besides helping other authors, is meeting readers. I
Yeah.
absolutely love talking to readers. And that's why I'll do so many book club presentations and things. I've I love it. If you want to ask me a question about my character, sure, let's do that. If you want to ask me a question about how to become an author, let's talk about that. So I have run into a lot of people who have ideas of maybe becoming an author, who have come to a presentation of mine about my book and said, well, hey, I have an idea. How would I go about doing this? And then a lot of times the conversation will take a totally, left turn, and, it'll go to a different direction, but then I can help them to maybe come up with ideas on how they might become an author.
That's amazing. Well, I love the fact that you share and that your focus isn't just on yourself. I really appreciate that about you. All right, I have three questions I ask at the end of every episode. The first question is, if you could close your eyes just a moment, and in your mind's eye, describe what you see when I say wise woman.
I see a group of women that
Mm,
a group of women supporting each other. You can't be wise on your own. I also see, I'm religious, so I see, like kind of a religious symbol, and I see that uplifting support, because I believe you can't do anything alone. I do think that, you have to put in your own time. You have to put in your own heart. So it's not everybody will do it for you, but you do need support from everyone around you. And if you don't have that support, your road's going to be a lot rough, a lot more bumpy, rougher to drive, until you find the support that you need.
I agree 100%. That's beautiful. I love the fact that you said, I see a group of women. That's amazing. Okay, so my next question is, where do you like to roam?
Anywhere in nature. I
Uh-huh.
love the beach. I love kayaking. I love boating. I was a hunter, camper, fisherwoman in Colorado, hiking. If it's nature, actually, oddly enough, away from technology, I know that
Yeah.
I need it for writing, and I know I love it for this, that we can be on Zoom, and it's such a blessing. But honestly, I am probably at the most peace and at the most happiness is when I am just sitting in nature.
Yeah.
Whether it be with a book or with my husband or my children, and we're just enjoying
Mm,
our own little lives. So that's when I roam,
absolutely.
nature.
I love it. And finally, in a good way, what makes you restless?
In a good way. I'm saying I'm restless because my mind never stops talking to me.
Yeah.
But in a good way, the good way is that I take that wildness that doesn't ever want to stop, and I try to channel it into some sort of positive energy, to where, like we had talked this whole podcast, helping other people, creating another fiction story, maybe creating new characters. So I take kind of all of that, almost, I don't want to use the word anxiety, but like that almost turmoil, that you can feel in your brain because you have so many things going on. And I try to turn it into almost like a fireball, if you will, and I send it to the right spot and just say, hey, we're focusing here. And all this energy that's inside me is going to create this masterpiece next. So
Right. I love that restlessness creating masterpiece. I love that. And because I too think restlessness is a good thing. It's just a matter of how you use it. Um, so
yeah,
thank you for that.
I
Thank you
can't,
for that.
I don't, I don't think there's ever a time I have been able to sit perfectly quiet and still, unless I am like forcing myself for like a meditation purpose.
Yeah.
Because I think I always have something wild in my mind that I want to think about, something I want to
Uh-huh.
do, something that would be fun to do, something we should go and check out. That it almost feels squirrel mode,
Yeah.
you know, but as long as you can round those squirrels up, you're in good shape, right?
There we go. And wind them all up in a fireball and send it to the creative side. Absolutely. I love
Exactly.
it. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for being here. How can people get your books?
You can visit me at saltyinspirations.com. That is my business name, Salty, for the new salt life I have, and the inspirations for all the creativity that I am. So saltyinspirations.com will give you everything you need to know about me, all of my socials, how to buy my books, how to contact me for book club information, how to join my writers group, how to find this podcast. I'll have it on there too. How to
Sounds great.
So Salty Inspirations is the greatest hub, and my newsletter, which is also there as well. I send out a monthly newsletter first Friday of the month. That's all I do, just to not pollute your email box and tell you kind of all the fun things that I have going on in the world of Salty Inspirations and everybody that I'm doing things with.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Okay, so folks, I'm going to have saltyinspirations.com in the show notes, so make sure you take advantage of that. Go out and check out Michelle's work and ask her about if you are thinking about perhaps becoming an author, ask her about that as well. Michelle, thank you again, and folks, we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs ups and reviews go a long way.